tonight. So good evening and welcome to the 25th School of Medicine White Coat Ceremony. My name is Dr. Jennifer Christner and I serve as the Dean of the School of Medicine. I know that each of you joining us on the live stream share in this joy of this very, very special milestone, entrance into medical school. And you are enjoying this with someone who is going to soon be on this stage and donning the iconic symbol of being a physician, the white coat. Physicians are part of the most intimate moments of a person's life. We are there for the first breath, and we are there for the last breath. We are privy to confidential information that no other professions dare ask. I thank you for joining us virtually to witness the intimate and special moment, the induction of your loved ones as they join the most noble of professions. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Paul Klopman, President, CEO, and Executive Dean of Baylor College of Medicine, who will give remarks and present the Debakey Scholar Award.
Thank you all, and welcome to Baylor College of Medicine. There's a lot of things we do in medicine that are very rewarding and exciting and filled with joy and celebration. You will get to experience those someday. Match day is fantastic, and graduation is a wonderful time. But we have other ceremonies in medicine that are not really joyous occasions. I would say they're more solemn occasions. And I view this one as the most solemn of some of the occasions we have. It's very, very serious. The Gold Foundation started this ceremony in 1993. This isn't something that is age-old. This is just from 1993. And the reason they started it is they wanted to emphasize humanism in medicine. So the Gold Foundation started that. First one was in Columbia. We're on our 25th one. But one of the things that they did when they started this ceremony was say there should be a lot of flexibility and differences amongst institutions. So I'm going to take that flexibility and that difference to explain to you what I think the white coat ceremony means. So why do we wear white coats? What is the purpose of a white coat? Doctors did not always wear white coats. But somewhere in the, well, not somewhere, it's the mid-1800s, as the germ theory was being sort of first understood, and people like the Pasteurs were great physician scientists, the leading cutting edge of medicine and science came out of laboratories. And those laboratory physicians who were trying to find discoveries and cures for disease were all scientists in labs, and they came to be affiliated with the lab coat representing cutting edge medicine and the importance of science and facts in medicine, something that obviously is important right now. So it is that's why we wear white coats. We wear white coats because it's emblematic for others to see the profession of medicine and understand that we are fact-based, evidence-based, and we do things in behalf of our patients. Now, being a physician is a privilege. It's not a right, it's a privilege. You earn it by all this hard work you've done to get here. But when people are ill, they look to you for advice. They speak to you intimately. Society looks at you as leaders, whether you deserve it or not at this point, but they look at you as leaders. The minute you have a white coat on, you're more important. And so that's really important to understand that privilege also carries with it tremendous responsibility. So when you put on that white coat, you're getting the benefit of all the professionals that have existed before you, that are physicians in our entire profession. People will look at you with that kind of authority. And because of that, you have the responsibility to be a physician 24/7. You don't take off the white coat, go to a bar and have fun. It's 24/7. The things you did a month ago as a college grad may not be acceptable now as a professional. You're entering the profession of medicine. Everything you do, day and night, will reflect on you and our profession and the Baylor College of Medicine. So when everybody says, hey, this was great, let's go to a bar, have a drink with our friends while we're masking and trying to do social distancing, that's completely unacceptable. You have to understand you have responsibilities to model behavior. When you, last weekend or whatever, you were on vacation, you posted an Instagram or Facebook comment, think about it now as a professional in medicine, that what you're saying has great weight. And you will be taking an oath, which is also one of our ceremonies, to document verbally and together that you will defend the rights of your patient, that your patients will always come first before everything else. And so I congratulate you this is really a wonderful time. You are entering the profession of medicine. This is what being a doctor is all about. It is, even as a first-year student, before you're on the wards taking care of people, you are a professional. You're in the profession of medicine. When you put on your white coats today, I want you to feel the weight of it. I want you to feel the weight of it. I will tell you, the pandemic has been very interesting for me. My people around me will tell you, I come into work, sometimes I put on my white coat, sometimes I don't. At the start of the pandemic, I wear my white coat every day. I walk in and I put it on because I am responsible for the care of everybody in our institution, and I feel the weight of that responsibility. I want you to feel the weight of that responsibility when you put on your white coats today. So think about that as you do it. You'll have more fun at some other, some other event. But now it's I do have an opportunity to do something that's really great. I want to introduce our Debakey scholar. Normally this is introduced by our Chancellor, Bert O'Malley, who's just not able to join us tonight. But in 1973, we instituted the Debakey Scholar Award to be presented to a rising senior Baylor medical student. It's a tribute to Dr. Michael Debakey, who served as the first president of the Baylor College of Medicine and continued to be a vital member of the faculty until his death at age 99. He was very passionate about education and training of students and residents. And the award stipulates that the recipient shall be chosen from our medical students who have completed all but their last year. It is intended that the recipient be a living model of excellence in residence for the incoming first-year class and the other underclass students at Baylor. The recipient must first have demonstrated excellence in scholarship, but also have to have demonstrated integrity in leadership, community service, accomplishing something extra outside their normal academic curriculum. So on behalf of the committee, which is comprised of faculty and deans, I am pleased to announce that the recipient of this year's Debakey Scholar Award is Cynthia Y. Trung. As a student of our fourth-year class, Cynthia represents what this award is all about. She has attained a top-ranking scholarship level among her class for the first 3 years, including a background in teaching, research, and strong community service. Cynthia, will you please come forward to accept your award and make a few comments? Well, maybe I'll do the mask on or mask off for this. Here we go. Here's your award. You're welcome. Okay. Great. You keep that, and you also get, there's a monetary award.
Very nice, very nice. All right. Dean Christner, Dr. Klotman, Dr. Stolar, and the members of the Debakey Scholar Selection Committee, thank you so much for this tremendous honor. I'm so humbled to be selected for this award and so grateful to everyone who has supported me. To the class of 2025, a huge congratulations and welcome to Baylor College of Medicine. I think I speak on behalf of all of the upperclassmen and faculty when I say we are so excited to have you here and to witness your journeys as you grow into skilled, thoughtful, and innovative physicians. As I'm sure many of you were, I was really looking forward to gathering together with family and friends to celebrate this occasion, and I can imagine your disappointment that things haven't gone as planned. My parents in particular were excited to hear the speech in person, with my younger sister in the audience, here to receive the same white coat that I put on for the first time in this room 6 years ago to date. Reflecting upon my own white coat ceremony, the day was filled with poignance and symbolism, feelings I imagine are harder to replicate in the mundanity of your respective homes. There was a certain fanfare to being in a room filled with newly minted white coats. Pride and excitement, the overarching emotions. The event, a representation of your transition from being a pre-med, a student, a volunteer, to being a guardian of knowledge, health, and healing for so many. But I suppose this semi-virtual ceremony is emblematic of something more true of what it means to be a doctor than standing in a room of white coats. This past year, as COVID took over our lives and those of our patients, we learned to make sacrifices, today unfortunately being one of them. We learn to sit with the unknown and deal with uncertainty and adapt to a changing atmosphere. As a medical profession, we decided to ditch the white coat, mainly because it was a vector for transmission of infectious disease. But in doing so, we signaled to each other that in moments of suffering, all hierarchy, pomp, and circumstance were irrelevant. You all are learning these lessons early in your training and are more well equipped to deal with the uncertainties that come in life and in medicine than I was when I started medical school. In this class, I see a group of students who have seen the edges of human suffering, have seen the tremendous sacrifices demanded of this profession, and have witnessed the power of the political and economic forces that often work for or against us as we try to advocate for our patients. And yet, you have decided to pursue the noble path anyway. I am in awe of you, and everyone in this audience is immensely proud of you. Though I came to Baylor under much less profound circumstances, I've now entered my sunset days of medical school. In the throes of residency applications and my own sentimentalism, I have done a lot of reflecting. As I was preparing this speech, I was struck by how much I've learned along the way and wanted to share a few of those reflections with you. I'll start with the story of a patient of mine. I was on my medicine rotation at Ben Taub, and our team was admitted a patient that seemed perfect for me. She only spoke Vietnamese, the language of my parents, and she was admitted for chemotherapy for mantle cell lymphoma, a disease I knew intimately from an aunt of mine who was unfortunate enough to suffer from the same illness. I eagerly volunteered to take care of her, excited to talk to her about her SOX11 mutation or her R-CHOP chemo regimen. I walked into the room with my diagnosis, treatment, and plan prepared, and she met me with a cold indifference to all of my jargon. She didn't understand what it meant when her white blood count dropped or her fever spiked, never mind the genomic rearrangement driving her cancer. All she knew was that she felt tired and cold and sick. As I frantically looked around the room for the translator, a basket of mangoes sitting on her bedside table caught my eye. Because she was severely neutropenic, it was imperative that she avoided fresh fruits and vegetables, for fear that there could be bacteria growing in them that could send her into sepsis. In my fragmented Vietnamese, all I managed to piece together was, "You can't eat fruits and vegetables, very dangerous." She looked at me with betrayal in her eyes. She asked me why I couldn't understand her Vietnamese and why I couldn't explain what was happening to her in her own language. She asked me how I could take those mangoes away, knowing, as I do, how important it is to have a piece of fruit at the end of a meal. I left the room with my tail between my legs. As new MS1s, you probably didn't recognize a lot of the terms that I had tried to throw at my patient. It is like learning a new language medicine, and I hope you can take a moment in your early years to absorb how foreign the concepts and terminology can be. Inevitably and imperceptibly, that will begin to change for you, and the jargon will begin to weave itself into the fabric of your daily vernacular. For your patients, though, this language will always be alien, and your job, as much as it will be to diagnose disease and prescribe medicines, will be to act the translator, to communicate the essence of the thing, to answer the main question that they will have, which will be, what does this mean for my life? To be able to act the translator, though, it will take a seemingly impossible amount of studying and practicing, failure and repetition. You will feel overwhelmed by the vast quantity of information you are expected to learn. Maybe you already are. But often as students, I think we miss the forest for the trees. The lessons that you learn from your patients are the intangible, unteachable ones. Medical school will teach you the systems of the body, but your patients will teach you the economic systems, the racial, the gender, the inequities of circumstance, that the world is made up of systems that govern ultimately what lives and what dies. Recognize those systems and question them. I promise you it is as worthy a pursuit as studying for your boards. You are here not just because of your scores or how many volunteer hours you have under your belt, but because of the way that you think. Our systems could sure use your thoughts. It will not be easy, what I am asking of you. To be a med student is to be a professional juggler. Balancing the studying and extracurriculars with the rest of your life is enough to make your head spin. My advice to you is to be particular about the way that you spend your time. Figure out what it is that brings you joy and move in that direction. As someone who took time away from school, because I just had this itch in the back of my head about what it would be like to design my own mouse models, or learn about RNA sequencing, or live in New York City, I would advise you not to be afraid to stray away from the forged path. I can't emphasize enough how valuable it was for me to have perspective on medicine from outside of medicine. Those years away from school not only gave me the space to think about who I was as a budding doctor and how I wanted to serve people, but I also learned how I wanted to move through the world and what I wanted out of my relationships. If there are questions that keep you up at night, pursue them, even if they are about something deep inside yourself and not necessarily about the daily work of being a medical student. A doctor who understands themselves in the context of the world is one who is better equipped to see their patients as more than just a lab value, but rather as just a fellow person, one who has so happened to reach out to you for help. On the last day of my internal medicine rotation, I went back to see my lymphoma patient. After a month with her, she had forgiven my elementary Vietnamese and we had brokered a deal. Her daughter would bring in all of her favorite foods, and I would tell her which ones were safe. After some deliberation and a consult to infectious disease, we decided that her box of pork sung, a type of dried pork jerky, was sufficiently salted and preserved enough to obliterate any bacteria that could threaten her fragile immune system. That day, we sat together in silence, eating pork sung with rice, speaking the same language at last. My parting words to you, class of 2025, in medical school, you will experience some of your lowest lows and your highest highs. You will be brought to tears, or at least I was, by the immense privilege it is to be so intimately in a patient's life. Your friends will need you, and you will need them. You will learn to choose integrity over comfort. You will find that thing that drives you, and you will let it blossom inside you. You will grow up. Standing at the end of those 4 years you are about to embark on, I am so excited for you to experience what a deep pleasure it is to be able to learn every single day. Congratulations again to you, class of 2025. I can't wait to see what you do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Tyson Pillow, Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine and recipient of the 2021 John P. McGovern Outstanding Teacher Award in the Foundational Sciences, to present the faculty address.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very honored to be up here representing faculty. I think at the end of the day, as I was listening, just anecdotally, I tend to follow Dr. Klotman a lot in presentations, and it's continued to be very, very hard. Now there's a new level there. I think Dr. Betrong's address was right on with everything about your transition, about the journey, about everything that really just begins today. So I'm honored to sort of accept the challenge to follow and really just add to a few things to this. I think also there is, as I was thinking about what I would say to you, I think there is a beauty to this entire process as well. Ironically, I'm an ER doctor, so I'm at the front lines. I'm living some of the pieces that were talked about in our last address, and I very rarely wear my white coat. In fact, the reason it's so nice and crisp and clean is because this is the second time I've worn this particular coat. And even with that, as I went to my office today to grab the coat, looking at it, it has this beautiful weight to it. And what do I mean by that? This is just the beginning of a wonderful journey, and it will be challenging. There will be things you discover about yourselves. There will be opportunities to step up, help your friends, help your family, and even with that, we accept that weight. We accept the weight that in the wake of the pandemic or anything else that comes along, we are looked to as the leaders. We are looked to help guide people through. And this is just one of those symbols of that transition, right? I saw a lot of you as I was driving up. I saw a lot of you taking pictures and enjoying the look, right? So I will say, I agree with Dr. Klotman. This is a very sort of serious transition. And my message is going to be enjoy every bit of it. Enjoy the struggles, enjoy the triumphs, enjoy this beautiful weight that is going to be very, very soon placed upon your shoulders and carried throughout your careers if you move forward, right? And I will add, number one, you all look really good outside, and I'm looking forward to seeing you don the coat officially, right? I think as a second thing to add, Just so you all know, family reunions will never be the same, right? You will be the person who's answering the questions, and even there, sort of microcosm for a greater sort of path where people look to you. We have a calling, we have a duty to reach out, to be leaders, to guide not only on a macro scale, what should we be doing medically, what's the best way to approach this problem, but also on a micro scale, what's going to be best for our patients, how do we communicate, how do we bring this beautiful weight of caring, empathy to everything we do, And I really will echo what Dr. Klopman said and Ms. Strong as well. This is such a wonderful journey. My addition to this, my wish for you, our wish as far as faculty, staff, is that you enjoy every moment. Medical school will go very, very fast, and then on to residency, and then your faculty. Enjoy every moment. The easy parts, the difficult parts, the parts where you learn, as mentioned, to prioritize integrity over simple joys and things that can get you in trouble, right? Realizing that you represent Baylor College of Medicine, you represent this profession. Enjoy every moment, because this is a wonderfully beautiful weight with this white coat. And I really appreciate the chance to share with you all. I appreciate the chance to get up and welcome you all here. We are all here for you. We've been through it ourselves as well, and we will help you along the way. Welcome to this wonderful profession. Welcome to this wonderful calling, and thank you all. Thank you for our families and friends who are joining us virtually as well. I know you all are incredibly proud of all of your sons and daughters that are here, and just look forward to this amazing journey that we have in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pillow. And now for the moment that you've all been waiting for, the donning of the white coats. Assisting with this are the learning community directors and advisors who serve as mentors for our students during their 4 years of medical school. They have a really important role in the professional development of our students. Representatives from the second-year medical school class will announce the names of our first-year students.
Chrissy Abraham, Hunter Adams, Bolatito Ayudari, Kenyon Agrans, Yusuf Ahmed, Anthony Alam, Christopher Almendarez, Colton Andrews, James Applewhite, Mirza Usman Beg, you may now don your white coat. Ashley Bancroft, Braden Barrett, Taylor Beal, Sabrina Benitez, Margaret Berry, Anshul Bhatnagar. Thomas Binney. Lauren Brewster. Elise Brickhouse. Deborah Brisola. You may now don your white coat. Jane Buell. Charles Bui. John Marco Antonio Calderara. Maya Caldwell. Lauren Callahan. Belia Camarena. Austin Emiliano Cantu. Sarah Casey. Vanessa Catania. Ashley Chavana. You may now don your white coat. Victoria Chen. Elizabeth Chang. Katie Cordova. Melina Corriveau. Samia Dagestani. Ashley Dow. Nina Dasari. Valeria de las Casas. Bryce Dennis. Michael Diefenbach. You may now don your white coat. Lauren Quintu Do. Jen Lee Dong. Tony Du. Danielle Duran. Anthony Dureru. You may now don your white coat.
Brooklyn Earls. Aiden Max Ehrlich. Jade Evanstad. Kyla Ferguson. Brianna Fernandez. Andre Ferreira. Liam David Ferreira. Sarah Frisky. Danielle Claire Garcia. Eric Joshua Garcia. You may now don your white coat. Eric Daniel Garza. Francesca Gideon. William Adrian Gervais. Srinithia Reddy Gillapelli. Chelsea Shania Godfrey. Caitlin Elizabeth Golden. Ronald Aaron Goldsberry. Clarissa Alexis Gonzalez. Jay Gupta. Adele Mahmoud Hassan. You may now don your white coat. Madeline Hellisty. Norvin Giovanni Hernandez. Elizabeth Jane Hick. Raymond Ho. Swathi Hulla. Shervin Hassangoli Nuri. Austin Hong. Alex Yakubuchi. Samagra Jain. Whitney Jin. You may now don your white coat. Joshua Johnson. Travis Josephs. Shivanki Junja. Spurti Kaumepali. David Shah Karngba. Karina Kett. Alexander Thomas Keatsman. Sarah Kim. Randall Parker Kirby. Joshua Cade Korb. You may now don your white coat. Bhavana Kunisetti, Anna Marie Lang, David Lamont Levitt, Tiffany Macy Lee. You may now don your white coat.
Elizabeth Lynn Liu. Yuli Lim. Kristen Linares. Landry James Luker. Jake Michael Lynn. Nicholas Mameri. Anusha Amin Magnogia. Arusha Amin Magnogia. Chisoam Maduka. Inara Malik. You may now don your white coats. Sujal Manower. Kathleen Takahashi. Alexandra McLennan. Thomas Antonio Medrano. John James Miggins. Matthew Malad. Ashley Elizabeth Montgomery. Grayson Moran. Danielle Morin. Zane Nuckvy. You may now don your white coats. Jean-Pierre Nguyen. Orion Nguyen. Alexis Christine Nichols. Adonzi Nyagu. Benjamin Osinachi Nwakui. Jennifer Onkwe. Sing Yi Oi. Ashley Osimeta. Christina Beatriz Otero. Stephanie Oyibu. You may now don your white coats. Lon Kai Pang. Nihar Pathare. Grant Allen Patrick. Caitlin Taylor Perez Stable. Jamie Sophia Pilp. JC Pridgeon. Jamie Stephen Provost II. Michael Calvin Quinn. Samuel Javier Ramirez. Aika Rimpali. You may now don your white coats. Joshua Rasband. Nicholas Restrepo. Gabriel Reyes. Ashley Rose Riccadelli. Anna Paulina Rivera. You may now don your white coats.
Fisher Robinson. Alejandro Charles Rodriguez. Jacob Rupchand. Emily Roy. Angelique Rummel. Maria Salazar. Matthew Sander. Vaishnavi Shankar. Nathaniel Sawyer. Bhavesh Sandeep Sayal. You may now don your white coats. Denise Civilmus. Cher Shah. Samuel Shenoy. Dale Shepard. Sharonya Shetty. Samir Akbar Siddiq. Aaron Simpson. Henry Chang Skrayhat. Ola Solomon. Jeffrey Song. You may now don your white coats. Brian Sorensen. Haley Stafford. Ryan Steppe. Colleen Elizabeth Stroline. Emily Strupauer. Jacob Tao. Macy Terrell. Taylor Thrasher. Joyce Tiong. Sai Tarumala. You may don your white coats. Malika Togum. Connor Tompkins. Evelyn Tran. Paulina Trong. Michael Tierlich. Maria Uribe. Carlos Valenzuela Flores. Andrea Vanax Laredo. Varsha Varghese. Siddharth Venkatesh. You may now don your white coats. Emily Haitao Wong. Jonathan Welsh. William Whitworth. Austin Williams. Amanda Sia. Daniel Jung. Kelvin Zhou. And Harrison Zhu. You may now don your white coats.
All right, well, congratulations, everyone. So that was really wonderful to see, and I'm going to now have Dr. Andrea Stoller, who is our Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs, will administer the medical student oath and the honor code pledge.
Thank you. All right. Will the class of 2025 please rise and recite with me the medical student oath and the honors code pledge, which are on the back of your cover of your program, okay? As a medical student at Baylor College of Medicine and as a future physician, I will practice medicine to the highest standards of conduct by doing what is best for my patients and allowing neither greed nor miserliness nor thirst for great reputation to corrupt me. I will cultivate the virtues of integrity, honesty, compassion, courage, respect, self-sacrifice in myself and in my colleagues. I will remember that my actions impact the way the world perceives medicine. I will cherish the diversity among my patients and my colleagues and will not tolerate any form of discrimination or harassment. I will respect those who are wiser than I am and gratefully follow their guidance. I will be compassionate and never see in the patient anything less than a fellow creature in pain. Today is the first step in a lifetime of learning, and I promise to always challenge the extent of my knowledge. May the white coat I don today remind me of the promises I have made and of my duty to make medicine better. And now the Honor Code Pledge. I pledge to maintain a high level of respect and integrity as a medical student at Baylor College of Medicine. I understand and will uphold the Honor Code in letter and in spirit to help our school advance authentic learning. I will not lie, cheat, plagiarize, or be complicit with those who do. I will encourage fellow students to uphold these same values. I make this pledge in the spirit of honor and trust. Thank you. You may be seated. On behalf of Dr. Klotman, Dr. Christner, and the faculty and staff and trainees at Baylor, thank you for joining us this evening, and congratulations to the class of 2025. Students, you may proceed to the room to your right for a group photo, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us.